Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and boy, do we have a lot to address in our next part of our review through covering Fields of Fire. You will notice that I have switched to the static camera with the camera pointing down to the cards. That seemed to be what you guys requested. We'll try this one out this way. Film it. I can zoom down with the video editor to zoom into the areas that I'm talking about. You guys let me know if you prefer this. I know the sound quality will be better because I can hook up my better mic to the camera when we're doing it this way. So let me know what you prefer. We're going to try it this way on this one. I do appreciate all the comments down below helping me to work through this. Like I said, I'm going for how much of an understanding can one guy, just using the rule book, just using the materials provided in the game itself, glean from it, to judge the difficulty of the game. And we'll take and work through the stuff that you guys point out, internet, hive mind and all as we go through. But you're seeing some of the difficulties that I'm coming across. And some of it is assumptions made on my part. Like, for example, over here with the machine gun teams, when I first moved them forward, I just missed something. I'll grab the player aid and show you guys. Over here in our movement actions, I just missed the part where it said cost is 2 orders to move a platoon versus the 1 order. So that was just a minor goof on my part. But the seeking cover part is the real thing that I messed up. Because in my thinking, I'm like, okay, the platoon commander, the CO, whoever it is giving the orders, they get across to whatever area and he just yells out, get your asses down. Heads down, dummies. That type shit. But the orders don't work that way. They work where you have to take and issue the orders to each individual unit, which means that I have one unit along with the HQ that is still outside of cover because I only had enough orders to order one unit to seek cover. So what I could have done is I've got the 1-1 machine gun team here under a cover marker and exposed where they are, and then these guys are just under an exposed marker. So they could have sought cover using one order, and then he could have ordered the other team to join them with a separate order under that cover marker, or ordered them to find their own cover in there. The only other aspect that I did first, that kind of does make sense to me when I think about it, real world wise. I mean, I can see it both ways. But say, a commander's giving an order, right? And he's not going to take and go order each individual fire team and soldier and marine and, whoever. He's going to talk to the squad leaders. So the way I'm kind of seeing that being represented is the HQ is giving orders to each individual squad leader to do X with their team. In this case, seek cover. So he issued an order to this guy to seek cover, or this squad leader, and they took their machine gun squad and went and got into cover. So I can see that making sense that the 1-1 did have the order to get in cover, 2-1 didn't. But the machine gun HQ, I don't see why he has to issue an order to himself to go get into cover. I just, realistically, I don't agree with that assessment. Like, the HQ should be able to just get into cover, not, hey, self, what are you doing standing out in the open, self? Maybe you want to get your head down so you don't get it blown off, self. Stonewall Jackson, this is not a good idea. And just a thought. Something else that was addressed in our previous video was the tank thing. One, I did actually find it. Let me grab it. Sorry for reaching across the camera, but one of the drawbacks of having it up high is I am on the right side of the camera, so I have to reach across. But I did find that tank platoon commands available. I had just tucked it into the tray, one of the trays, and I just missed it, unfortunately. So found that. We're good as far as that's concerned. Oh, and last thing, I don't have any saved orders left on the machine gun crew. I just remembered that I did have to take that off because they did spend all their orders, didn't have any left. But I was playing the tank guys wrong. There's a lot of debate back and forth, and I think vehicles are going to be one of the areas where people have a lot of confusion on top of it when it comes to this game, because vehicles are another added layer of complexity on top of an already very complex system. But the issuing orders to the platoon is, from what I've read in the rulebook, the same as issuing orders to like soldiers, regular guys moving out. So the tank HQ should be able to spend the one set of orders. So he's moving out his platoon, which is the 2 orders, which is what he had. So I do need to actually move that over into no orders saved. But all of them can be activated to move out versus just the 2 that I had originally marked. So we're going to pick up with that with the 4 tanks moving out. There was, and actually let me grab this so I don't forget about it. Put that into no orders remaining. And there was something else someone gave as a good suggestion, and that was the scouting parties, instead of having them consist of an entire squad like I sent forward, which you see here, because I sent the 3rd squad of each one of the platoons forward, is that I could have broke that down even further and sent just one generic step. Okay, so I could have kept, actually we can flip it over and show you guys. When you flip the counter over, that's the 3-step side. So we could have broke this down to 3 steps and kept the 3rd step back and just sent that 1 step forward to take and scout for us and get these potential contact markers tripped, so the rest of our guys could hopefully move forward as an infiltrate move instead of just moving forward and getting exposed. That way they'd have less of a chance of taking heavy fire. I'm not going to go back and correct my mistake. I goofed that, so you guys will get to watch how I suffer the loss of steps from that mistake. But that is something you can keep in mind, that you can break down those squads even further and just order one little fire team to go shooting forward. Your sacrificial lance corporals who can go clear the mines for you with their feet, as the case may be. All right, we're going to jump back into it. Let me grab my rule book, back of the rule book. We are at our mutual vehicle aircraft phase. So this is when we're going to do our movement and everything with our vehicles. So let's take and grab our vehicles. We're going to move them all forward. We'll flip our activation counters over to move fired. And these guys will be up. That way they can present their heavy armor and heavy firepower to the enemy when the enemy comes forward. Because I was looking at some of the packages that can be spawned, for lack of a better word, by the enemy in this mission, and there are some like hardcore things getting ready to come down. Hopefully it will not be artillery coming in on us and mines and crap like that, but there are a fair amount of Japanese tanks that could potentially come forward, so we do have to worry about that. So that takes care of our vehicle phase. The enemy does not have any vehicles on the board just yet, and these guys can't open fire because there's nothing there, but they can react fire to things that the enemy does, which is what's going to happen now. Okay, so if we look at our little sequence of play here, we're in our mutual combat phase. We don't have any fire missions to update, so we don't have to worry about that part just yet. And now we are into our evaluate potential contact markers. So this is where we determine whether or not there are enemies there. Now, depending on what level of engagement we are in determines how many cards we draw to determine if we contact the enemy or not. We are in no contact. Excuse me. No contact. Well, I just had the card with me. Here it is. No contact here. And you see, depending on the type of marker, if it's A, B, or C, determines on how many cards you have to draw. Excuse me, I'm a little choked up. The A marker at no contact is an auto, which means we automatically draw for placement of enemy units on the table to see whether or not they're going to show up, or not whether they're going to show up, but where they show up. At contact level, so at the next level, we have to draw 7 cards. At engaged, we have to draw 5, and heavily engaged, we have to draw 3. So the more engaged you are with the enemy, the heavier you're being hit, the less amount of cards that you have to draw. But we absolutely have to draw at this point. Okay, so when doing this, we're going to take and draw on this table here, and you're normally going to take and resolve these potential contact markers in a alphabetical order. Since they're all A, it says to do it randomly. I'm just going to do it easy and go right to left. And what you're going to look for is your little table here that shows you what potential packages can come from your random draw, and then you do a random draw 10 on the card. So you'll draw and you'll look at the number 10 on the random number generator to see what type of package actually takes and shows up. So let's take and draw our card for our first potential contact. Again, we do not have to take and draw to see if there's contact, because we already know there's contact because it's automatic since we're at no contact. So we'll take and draw our card, look at it, and this one is under number 10. It says 7. So let's grab our, and this little chart here, actually, is it this one? No, yeah, it's this one. Look here first, excuse me. Number 7 is package 18. Okay, package 18 is the one that we have to grab. And now I can show you this player aid. We need to look at 18, and it tells us what to spawn, which is tanks, 1 rifle squad, and 2 tanks marked exposed in placement card. They are spotted, and it says max range, line of sight. Okay, so here's a part that I'm confused on, and you guys are just going to have to bear with me and help me out here. So it says in placement card, which makes me think it needs to be placed here. Okay, after doing a little more thinking, I think I got what the hell this shit's supposed to mean now. All right. It means they're going to be exposed in whatever card they're actually placed in. So we have to draw to determine what card they're going to end up in at max range and line of sight. So we'll look at our other table, unit placement. They are in column 4 over here on the far right. So we'll take and draw and determine what they're going to be. So we'll draw a card, look at our number, and this makes it easy because it's 1 all the way across the board. So they are going to be left front, all right, at the maximum range and line of sight. I've already got the counter set out here, and we'll grab an exposed marker so we don't forget it. Since it's left front, it'll be here at the farthest range. If these weren't white borders, they would go in this card. But since these are white borders, they're going to go in this card because they have long range. You guys can see there, long range on all of them, actually. That rifle squad is long range as well. And it means they can hit 2 cards away, basically. So point blank range is the card itself. Close range is the adjacent card. Long range, and then very long range. So we will take and place 2 tanks and an Imperial Japanese squad here on this card under an exposed marker, and now we finally have that taken care of. First one, and we'll pull this placement marker off since we have resolved it. We'll go on to our next one. All right, there was one other thing I was going to take and address, but we'll actually touch on that here in a minute. I was thinking about the reaction fire for the tanks, for the vehicles, but I think they're going to react when the enemy units actually perform their actions and moves and everything that we've got coming up. So we'll get to that in just a sec. We're up to our next draw. We are now in... Oh, wait, we're not in contact, are we? No, because they're going to open fire. They automatically open fire. The vehicles do. Oh, shit, I got to think about this for a sec. Because we are in contact. I know these units being placed causes them to open fire, and it causes my units to open fire on them as well. Okay, let me think about this for a sec, and I'll get back to it. Okay, so I'm reading in the rules here. Opening fire, right here. A non-engaged unit opens fire, becomes engaged with its basic volume of fire when it has spotted an enemy unit within range and line of sight. This is automatic and mandatory. Because I was wondering, like, okay, does my entire firing line here open fire onto them? And I'm guessing they do, because it says it's mandatory onto them. And I guess they're going to take and open fire onto me. And I'm like, what the hell? Okay. So let's get our firing lines. And sorry, guys, I know this is taking a while and it's not a just easy walkthrough process. But like I said, I'm trying to show you guys, all the ins and outs, all the intricacies of the game. And there is a lot to this game, so you kind of have to walk yourself through it as you're going along. So let's grab out some directions of fire here, pointed direction of fire. And I'm going to take and just place my PDFs pointing at that card in a single direction. And we'll take and put this one, because we'll just have them open up straight ahead, the enemy forces. And then put that one like that, pointing at all of it. So they're all pointing that way. Because my guys... Oh, wait, my infantry don't. But I'm still going to have... Oh, no, my infantry do have long range. So they can hit them just like they can hit me. My tanks actually have very, very long range. So let's grab out some of our volumes of fire markers so we can determine what we're placing down here. Okay, I've got a stack here of volumes of fire, and the rulebook actually recommends doing this one of two ways. The way you're supposed to do it is you're just supposed to place the heaviest volume of fire counter down, and you don't have to place one for each group that's firing at them because it's only one's going to count, right? So you don't tally up the entire total. But it does recommend that if you're newer to the game, to take and place down a volume of fire marker for each one of the units that you have firing on it, just to take and kind of have that mnemonic reminder of what the situation is. So all of my squads, my just normal squads that are spread throughout here who've all opened up fire, they all have a small volume of fire marker, which is a +0 modifier. In this game, when you're attacking a lower number, so negative numbers are good. I want a negative number on them, ergo why the exposed marker is -2, and positive numbers are bad. So we actually have 4, and I'm going to do it the way to help remind myself. We've got 4 small volumes of fire, and again, that's not even going to matter. The infantry fire coming from these guys is negligible compared to the heavy volumes of fire. We've got 4 of those on there as well, so we'll place those down, and those are coming from the tanks. So let's see. Our enemy tanks have automatic, and this guy has small, so we'll take and grab some for those guys as well, just so we're keeping track of who is who and what's going where. So they have opened fire, and we'll take, and the way the rulebook states is like put volume of fire markers down to the bottom of the card to represent enemy fire, and top of the card to represent your own. If you have one where you're just taking volume of fire from, one like the enemy firing down over here, you could just continue placing it in the upper left. But this is the way I like to do it to help remind myself, like, okay, these volume of fire markers down the bottom left, that's always coming from the enemy. The ones that I put up here, top left of the card, are always coming from my guys. So we have 2 automatic volume of fire markers for the tanks, the Type 95s, and 1 small arms modifier, volume of fire, that is coming from the Japanese squad. Now, we are good. Everyone who has line of sight and spotted, because this did show up spotted, has opened up fire at the opposing forces. I'm wondering if I should place an extra PDF, like put a PDF here, because the line of fire is going across, but we know it, so we'll not worry about that. Now, I actually get to take and do my second potential contact. I hope you guys are seeing now, the whole point of the reason I call these things a review through is that I do try to toss in my thoughts on these aspects of the game as I'm going through. And I know you have to give concessions for the fact that I am recording, so it's going to take me longer to do certain aspects. But you can see how long it's taken me just to get to this point of the match where I finally revealed one potential contact marker, figured out what it meant by it, and got it resolved to the point that everything's on the map. It takes a little while. This game is deep. There's a lot to it. And I'm not hating on it for that. There's an absolute market for people who want a game this deep, this complex, where you really have to think your way through it. You just need to be honest that that's the type of game this is. All right, so we're going to take and draw for our second potential contact marker. We have to draw 7 cards because we are at engaged. Now let's take it. Actually, no, we don't flip that one over. Engaged is on a separate counter, so we'll flick it over to that. And there is a reminder on one of these little cards as well that contact, or wait, where are we at? We are just at contact, not even to engaged yet. Contact is 1 friendly occupied card is under volume of fire marker. Engaged is 2 friendly. I keep thinking engaged is the first one. Contact is the first one. 2 friendly cards are under a volume of fire marker. And to get heavily engaged, you have to have at least 2 volumes of fire on your guys and enemy units in a card with your guys. So we're actually at contact right now. Okay, so now we take and draw 7 cards to determine what, or if we have contact here with this potential marker, and then we'll continue on. So 1, 2, 3, there's cover, 4, 5, another cover, 6. Tell me we've got no contact? No contact, oh shit, look at that. We're looking for the word contact up here, so we actually did not, just like you have cover and rally there, you're looking for that word contact there. So that actually resolves this potential contact marker. We'll set that off to the side. All right. Welcome back. I went ahead and went through the remainder of the potential contact markers off camera to save you guys the painful process of working with me trying to figure out where the hell all these things go. For the next one right here, we ended up getting 17, which was 2 rifle squads attempting to infiltrate and the tank that ended up being placed at right front. So they ended up over here and they failed their infiltrate. So I went ahead and put the exposed marker down for them. You guys let me know if I'm right on that. I think I am right that they failed the infiltrate, so they still get the exposed marker. Let me know if I am wrong on it. But we've got them at max line of sight and range, so it's kind of like we popped here and exposed those guys, popped here, exposed these guys, and this one was actually another no contact. So we had contact, no contact, contact, no contact. So 2 groups ended up spawning, 3 tanks and 3 squads, which is actually kind of interesting. I went ahead and put the volume of fire markers for these guys that are located up here down on the guys that are straight in front of them. But since these guys, all of them, have already engaged, then they're all firing in that direction already. So that group's getting just torn all to hell. The ones at the farthest range. Actually, that is kind of the tip of the screen, but I think you guys can still see it. Sorry about that. I did not realize that the cards were just a bit out of screen there at the top. So I went ahead and moved the camera up just a bit and the cards down just a little bit so you guys could get a better view of what's going on up here. And there's actually still cards up past there that no one's on, so we're not worried about that just yet. But now you can see what I'm going to need in order for when it comes to shift fire, because all of my fire is going in one direction right now, and I need to shift some of that over to here, like have a couple of cards put some hurt down range to try to weaken these guys down, because only one of those volume of fire markers over here is doing any good, right? Even just a small arms pointed over here would do something, but as it is, it's not doing anything for me. These guys don't have any potential losses coming into them, and there's no extra damage being done to those guys. So I really do need to get that shifted over. That automatic mandatory opening fire thing kind of burned me down over here. We're going to pause here. I know that the video is running long and that it's taken a while to get to all the aspects that I know you guys are curious, but I'm trying to walk through this as slowly and methodically as I can, because I know there are a lot of people who are interested in this game, who are on the fence about this game, and they want to see it in action. They don't want to just see someone unbox it and show you what's in it. They want to see how the game plays to determine whether or not it's a game for them. And I get that. I understand it. So we're going to keep working through it together. Like I said, put it down in the comments. If you see that I did something wrong, I'll take and make sure to annotate it. And no one likes being told, hey, you messed this up. But with, a game as complex and deep as this one is, I'm not going to take it personally. It's just a deep game, and no one's going to be a 100% expert at it. Hell, with my brain injury, I'm lucky to have this thing on the table and the counter's out, All right, but that's going to be it for me. I will try to get another video up before the baby comes, but if you don't have something from me by this weekend, that means I was not able to do that. So I apologize, guys, but I will do my best. You guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.